expelled from Osceola High School. They said no more Jersey Shore up in this mug. So they expel you, and what happens?
I get sent to New Beginnings, which is alternative program.
Okay, so they kick you out, they send you to New Beginnings, alternative program. Does Mike stick around? Is he scared of you, or does he stand by your side at this point?
He's with me.
He sticks with you?
Oh, absolutely.
That's how you accept her, Mike, right there. Beating people down and all. So you go to New Beginnings, okay. The loss of people in your life, you get kicked out of school. Do you actually finish your high school career with some positive things?
I did.
Okay, talk about that.
I went back to HS, and then my counselor said that I would have to repeat another year because I didn't have enough credits. So then I told Mike, and he was doing homeschooling at the time, so...
Oh, hold on. He's doing homeschooling. Who's in charge of the homeschooling?
My mother-in-law, Miss Mary.
Miss Mary's in charge of homeschooling, okay. And Mike tries to help you out because he loves you. He stood by your side through all of this. You beating people down. He want to see you graduate. And he says to you what?
That I could do homeschooling with him. And so that's what I did.
And you graduated?
Graduated.
On time? You got any kids that are struggling in school? My mother-in-law is the one to talk to, all right? We got a plan for your kids, trust me.
Mary.
If they only knew what homeschool was like at the Pinsky house. Okay, so you graduate, and you celebrate your graduation by doing what?
I got married to Mike.
Woo! That's right, Mike sticks by her, fighting. Baby, you can do some homeschooling with me. If that ain't the best pickup line I ain't ever heard. Don't worry about it, baby. I got your homeschool right here. So y'all get your homeschool, you get your degree, y'all get married your senior year. A couple of years goes by. That was 07, right?
Yes.
So things are kind of on the up and up. You know, you kind of close that chapter on your book. With your grandma being gone, your mom being gone, your dad being gone. Now you got a husband, you got this big family that you married into. A couple of years goes by. And what's your relationship with God like? Where's church and all of this? Because up until this point, it was you was going to honor your grandma, then you was going for video, for games, candy, and Veggie Tales, and you get saved and all of that. So where are you at with God now that you're married? Let's fast forward to 09.
I got baptized.
You got baptized. What prompted you wanting to step forward and be baptized? What was that about?
My grandmother.
Again, for your grandma. So you still have grandma looming in your mind back there telling you to do the right things. You got that there. You want to honor her. And you decide, though, in 2009 that you want to get a little bit more serious, right?
Yes.
Because up until this point, you're coming to church, but you're not fully committed. Are you here every Sunday?
No.
No? What, like the Sundays you weren't here, where was you at?
At the beach.
At the beach. Yeah, y'all laughing because y'all be doing the same thing too. But if y'all was my family, you'd be getting the same.
Honduras.
Okay, so Reina's never been out of the country, and you decide, you know what?
I was out the country.
You were? Oh, the PR, right?
No.
Where'd you go?
I went to Jamaica for my honeymoon.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right, y'all went to our spot. Okay, bet. Okay, I'll give you that. So you go, you decide you want to go, but this is different though, because you went to Jamaica for your honeymoon. You about to go do some Christian mission work.
Yes.
Okay. So you decide that you're going to go for the first time with the church to Honduras. What was your trip in Honduras like?
It was really sad. I felt like I could relate to some of the kids.
How so?
Because of them not having parents, some of them having parents, some of them not getting to eat, things like that.
So you go, and it impacts you, because even though you may not be in the same situation as them, some of the struggles that you've had a lost a parent, having to struggle through all of that, JJ and Junie working 18 jobs just to make sure y'all got meals and things like that. So you felt like, yeah, I can relate to these kids, and though it's sad, you feel connected to them.
Yes.
Okay, but in order for you to get out of the country to Honduras, you got to get a what?
A passport.
Passport. Okay, y'all know how fun getting a passport is, right? Reina's story is better than all y'all's combined. Tell them what happens when you go to get your passport. You choking on your mouth? Tell them what happens when you go to get your passport.
Anyways, I have to change my name in order to get a passport.
Back up the truck. This is 2011 that you go to get your passport. And you and Mike got married when?
In 07.
2007. 4 years go by and you haven't changed your last name yet?
No.
Mike, we need to have a conversation, bro. All you newlyweds, don't let time go by like that before your spouse changes their last name. I'm just telling you. Men, come see me after service. I got some secrets for you. Okay, so you haven't changed your name in 4 years.
No.
So you're going to change your name so you can get your passport.
Yes.
Okay, so talk about what happens when you go to change your name.
I go to Social Security with my mother-in-law, and anyways, they call my number, and I go to the little room that they know where I need to go, and the guy prints out a paper and says, "Oh, review this paper and tell me if everything's correct." And I did, and the first thing that pops out is father's name, Dennis.
That's not your dad's name?
No.
What's your dad's name?
Antonio.
So the dad that came down from PR to reconnect with you that died the next day, his name is Antonio. That's not the name on your birth certificate?
No.
It's Dennis?
Yes.
Okay, talk about this. Continue to tell us what's going on with your passport. What's up?
Anyway, so I leave the room and my mother-in-law sees that I'm really upset. So she asked what's the matter, so I told her. So she called Social Security for me to verify the name. Anyway, she did that, and I text my brother and I say, I need to talk to you ASAP.
Does he get you back?
No, he doesn't.
What happens?
Well, I leave my mother-in-law, and then I finally go to my grandmother's house, and he calls me, and I say, can you explain why it says Dennis so-and-so under my Social Security? And he was like, oh, that gotta be a mistake, this and this and that, this and third. So I was like, all right, and we left it at that. And then I called my other brother to ask him the same thing, and the same thing he said. And then 3 days later, or 2 days later, whatever, he comes over and he tells me the story.
What's the story that he tells you?
Anyways, he says, so about Dennis. And I said, okay, explain. And then he says, I asked him, was this like a one-time thing? Was this whatever? He says that, no, it wasn't a one-time thing. This was, your mom had a relationship with him for a lot of years or whatever. And I was like, well, is there a possibility? Can Tony be my dad? Or he was like, no, Dennis is your biological.
So you go to get your Social Security. You go to change your name to get your passport. And in this, you find out that the dad that died a few years ago, literally the day after you forgive him, is not even your biological father. You have somebody totally different that's your biological father, and you're, what, 21 at the time? 22. Your brother finally tells you that you have a biological father.
Yes.
So 22 years goes by, and nobody says that to you, and finally, somebody got to spill the beans.
Yes.
So what happens after you find out that Dennis is your father, not Antonio?
I call my aunt, which is my aunt from his side. I thought she was my aunt from my mother's side. And anyways, I talked to her and I was like, well, about Dennis or whatever, can you explain some things? Like, is he living? How's his health? Does he have more kids? Is he married? And she says, yeah, he was married, whatever. And she says, do you have Facebook? And I said, yeah. She was like, well, you got 2 brothers. So she gave me their names, and I looked up my little brother first, and the little one looks just like me. And I was like freaked out.
Like your twin.
Yes, like my twin.
You see him, it's like, that's me.
Yes.
Dude.
With hair.
Okay, so you start researching through Facebook, and you see this dude, your twin, but a male version of you, and you're like, wow, that could be my brother.
Yes.
Does it stop there?
No.
Okay, talk about what else you do as you keep researching.
Then my aunt says, well, you should look up your aunt too, which is his sister. And I looked her up, I started talking to her, and she asked me for my number, so I gave her my number. And then a couple hours later, my dad calls me.
Whoa. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
And when he calls, what's that conversation like?
It was bad.
Now, when Reina says bad with a
It's
conversation,
bad.
that means she done gave somebody the business. So your dad calls and you just lay into him.
Yes.
And how does he receive that?
He was just like, sorry, whatever, and this and that. And I said, I want you to explain everything. I want to know what happened. And he told me that him and my mom got into some stuff or whatever, and she said some mean things, and he said some mean things or whatever, and that led up that he left, didn't return.
So that was a year ago, roughly about, right?
Yes.
Last year? Where are y'all staying now? What's y'all relationship like?
Awesome.
It's awesome. What makes it awesome? Describe to them some of the things y'all do.
Well, I went to see him 2 months after. We talked on the phone. We always talk on the phone. He came down to see me for my birthday, and vice versa.
So when you say always talk on the phone, like you mean that, like y'all talk every day?
24/7.
Okay, yeah. So when I lived with Reina, and the phone was to her ear, and she's talking to her dad. Reina, and she's just on the phone with her dad, talking, catching up, right? Because 20-something years have gone by, y'all never talked.
Yes.
So now y'all relationship is awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. So, yeah, awesome. That's right. So now you got your biological father back in your life. Y'all are doing good. Let's kind of look back at all of this stuff that went down. 2020 vision. Your relationship with God through all of this in church and things like that. You ever felt, like at the time, did you feel like God maybe forgot you or abandoned you?
Absolutely.
Angry, upset, all of the above, all of that stuff.
Yep.
Double deuces to God, the whole shebang, right?
Yes.
Where you are now, what's your relationship with God like?
I say awesome.
Awesome. Now, I forgot to ask you this the first, but I want to ask you this now. What was it that changed? Because, I mean, rightfully so, God done took your grandma, your mom, who you thought was your dad. You know, it's like y'all just can't get a break. You're angry with him, you're upset, double deuces, the whole shebang. What was it that changed to make you be able to stand here today and say y'all's relationship is awesome?
God and going to church.
Going to church. Was there anything else?
My relationship with Mike.
Your relationship with your husband.
My husband.
Mm-hmm. Your husband, hubby, boo-boo. And what else? There was one other thing that you told me that was significant for you.
Honduras.
So you got this mission trip to Honduras. You got sticking it out in church, even though you may not want to be here and you're upset with God. And your relationship with your husband. And all of that kind of collides and brings you to a place where now, even though looking back, you felt like maybe God forgotten or abandoned you, where you can sit up here today and tell everybody that y'all's relationship is awesome.
Yes.
Would it be fair for me to say that you are content with your life right now, having your father back in, adding new family members, you got this extended family, you and Mike go now on a regular basis to Honduras, and you're basically standing parents to these kids that y'all staying right now. PP Reina is what we call you. Got you some good nephews and nieces.
My babies.
Your babies, that's right. Is it fair for me to say that you're happy, you're content with what you have, or should I describe your position as being disappointed?
Content.
You're content and not disappointed.
No.
Okay. Y'all give Reina a round of applause.